3 reasons Mississippi State football will go bowling in 2026. Mississippi State football did technically make a bowl in 2025, not by normal circumstances. Obviously, the Bulldogs were 5-7. You were not expecting postseason play, but you had several teams opt out of bowl games, thanks to coaching changes and various other issues. And there was a bowl slot available in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and Mississippi State had the test grades there to go and take the job or accept the bowl bid. And sure enough, they did. And that appearance went the way that it did. It was a good experience for Kamario Taylor, but that was about it. But it was not a normal bowl trip. It was not a 6-6 season, and 6-6 seasons are not something to get all that excited about. But it would be a step forward from what we've seen, considering that Mississippi State has not been at least 500 in a regular season in the past 3 years. So it'd be the first time since 2022 if they can accomplish that. And I think it's a baseline goal for this season. We all want more. We all want to see this team take a bigger step forward, at least have a winning season. That would be great. But you also need to be able to see them at least be 500. Okay, and you get to that point and have at least that level of competence as a program moving forward. So how can State accomplish it? What are the 3 things that would set them up? So I'm going to just give you the 3 reasons why it will happen. We will later on do the 3 reasons why it won't happen. So it's not all going to be positive. We're going to explore both sides of the spectrum, why and why not. But we're going to be positive today. It's a good day. Mississippi State baseball getting the regional win. We're happy. Mike Leach has a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's be positive. Let's talk about why Mississippi State will go to a bowl game in 2026. And again, the 3 reasons why. And these are themes that if you've been watching this channel for a while are not going to be unfamiliar to you because we've talked about a lot of them already. But I think it's the 3 big reasons you should be optimistic about this team taking a step forward. And first and foremost is that they have a special talent at quarterback in Kamario Taylor. We have raved about Taylor nonstop, right? He is truly a special athlete, special physical talent that Mississippi State has the position that they've never had before. And he feels like the first guy since Dak who truly has that it factor to where he can just take over and lead the team. No disrespect to Nick Fitzgerald, who was a really good quarterback for State. No disrespect for Will Rogers, who did the same and had some good seasons. Those were good guys within the offenses that they played in, could run those systems and be effective, and won some big games for Mississippi State, had some all-time performances for Mississippi State. But in terms of being a guy who can take over and elevate a team himself, Dak Prescott was able to do that for Mississippi State. Kamario Taylor feels like the next guy who can do that, especially when you talk about what he can do from a running standpoint. I think he is maybe the best dual threat we've seen in terms of overall skill set come through Starkville with the size, speed, agility combination, the power that is there. I always go back in that Duke's Mayo Bowl. Andre Ware made the comment that watching Kamario reminded him of watching Vince Young at Texas. And that's high praise. But when you go back and look at the type of player Vince Young was, there's a lot of similarities to what you see in Kamario Taylor. Obviously, a lot of SEC fans, even though Texas is now an SEC team, but they weren't at the time, would think about a Cam Newton. And, he's not quite the same. He's not built the way that Cam was. But I think that Vince Young comparison, it's a pretty good one. From an athleticism standpoint, none of this is saying he will reach those heights. I'm not even saying he'll be the same guy that Dak Prescott was, but the talent is there to elevate. And the arm talent is special too. The kid has a cannon and can truly launch it downfield. And we did a big breakdown within this offense that Mississippi State runs. This is a system that really takes advantage of his skill set, and his skill set maximizes this system, everything that he can do. And while there are questions about the offensive line, and maybe you're still trying to figure out, okay, well, do you have those dominant guys on the outside that can win one-on-one, all that kind of stuff? There's still questions defensively. If you have a guy at quarterback, you have a chance. And it looks like Mississippi State has a guy. The talent that Kamario has is special. He has to reach that potential for sure, but I think he's going to be able to. So the number one reason Mississippi State's going to make a bowl game, it's the quarterback position. What they have in Kamario Taylor. the most talented quarterback recruit to ever step foot on campus. He showed you the potential as a true freshman, as a true sophomore. He's going to make himself known to the college football world. I feel really confident in that. The number 2 reason Mississippi State football makes a bowl game in 2026, that defense is going to be improved because the coaching is going to be that much better. Zach Arnett coming back to Starkville, taking over the role as Mississippi State's defensive coordinator for the second time in his career now. We could talk about his head coaching tenure. We could talk about the decisions he made. It's past us now. The guy was a really good DC for Mississippi State when he was here with Mike Leach. He was very successful, got the most out of those units, ran a style of defense that gave Mississippi State a chance in a lot of games. And the upgrade in coaching from what you've had the past 2 seasons with Coleman Hutzler to what you're going to be doing with Arnett is significant. This is a guy that understands how to scheme up disruptive defense. And I think it is a perfect fit opposite of what you're doing as an offense, where you're this explosive attacking offensive system that's trying to score fast, trying to hit the big plays. Defensively, you are trying to get off the field quickly. You are trying to create negative plays, create havoc, give your offense more scoring opportunities. I think it's a great fit. I think he's also an ideal fit working opposite of Lebby in the sense that, hey, he's been a guy that's had autonomy over his side of the ball. Mike Leach did not meddle with him. Mike Leach let him run his side of the ball. They barely talked to each other at all during games because it was basically 2 different units operating. Jeff Lebby kind of treats things the same way and wants to let his defense be his defense, but you need a DC that can handle that responsibility. Zach Arnett's a guy who has proven he can do that. And I think what he does schematically is going to fit the personnel Mississippi State has. I think they have linebackers that are disruptors, that are best when they are attacking. Few guys are going to be better utilizing their linebackers in that role than Zach Arnett. He puts pressure on the corners and wants them to be able to win one-on-one. Well, you got a lockdown corner in Kelly Jones. He's going to fit perfectly. What he does with the safeties, getting those guys attacking downhill and getting them into the run fit and sending them as a pass rusher. Isaac Smith is going to excel. Obviously, he was recruited to run this system and is now – he didn't get to do it briefly back as a true freshman in 2023. Now he gets to be in this defense as a senior. You know, if Kendall Dolby gets healthy, I think he's a great fit in it. Jordan Gilbert can kind of be that way. Not to mention you got a corner in Braylon Womack who's pretty safety in Braylon Womack who's pretty special as well. But it lets you put those safeties on the field where you got a lot of talent. You're going to get those guys on the field and give them opportunities. And I think it'll help out your defensive line too, because where you still have some questions about do you have the true game records up front, what you're going to do from a see ball, get ball standpoint and just telling the guys to pin their ears back and go, that frees up your D-line to be a more attacking, but you're also switching up the angles, the way you're going to simulate pressures, the different looks you're going to throw at the opposing offensive line. The confusion you can create is going to free up pass rushers. It's going to make life a lot easier on those defensive linemen. It's not all on them. Well, crap, I got to eat up a couple blocks here. Otherwise, my guy's not going to be able to come around through the gap and go make a play. You're scheming that up for them. So I think the defense is going to take a considerable step forward. I'm confident. Zach Arnett coaching this Mississippi State defense, that is the second reason this Bulldogs team is going to make a bowl in 2026. The final reason State's going to make a bowl game in 2026, most talented roster, Jeff Lebby said. And it's not close. You look across the board, the overall roster talent is the best place it has been. We talked about the quarterback, what you have. Skill position-wise, Fluff Bothwell getting a ton of NFL hype. You got some young guys in that room there's a lot of excitement about. Anthony Evans is one of the best returning receivers in the SEC. You got a ton of depth and explosive players in that room to step up. Offensive line, we have our questions for sure. But the talent ceiling of that room is higher than it's been. You've got guys that are legitimate SEC offensive linemen. It's just a matter of not have they developed and are they going to be ready to step in and play. But the offensive line talent is better than it has been. The same can be said for the defensive line. You have guys in there that can absolutely play at this level. You just don't have a lot of experience. But the talent in the linebacker room is very strong. The talent in the secondary is really good because it's not just Kelly Jones and Isaac Smith. You've got multiple solid options at that number 2 corner spot. You've got a bunch of good options at safety. This is the most talented roster Jeff Lebby's had. And you saw the improvement they made year 1 to year 2. because simply by having better talent on the roster, more than anything else, why did Mississippi State football go from 2-10 to 5-7? Because the roster was better. Well, now the roster is better again. Can that step forward, even against a different schedule, give you one more win? I think it can. So I'm confident that roster being better, that's a big picture reason this team will be able to make a bowl. So, again, just recapping. Number one, you have a special talent quarterback in Kamario Taylor. Number two, your defense will get much better coaching under Zach Arnett. And number three, this is the most talented roster you've had since Jeff Lebby got to Starkville. Those are the three reasons Bulldog football will go bowling in 2026.